I love communication. Otherwise known as talking to people, it expresses nearly every aspect of our lives. But you know what I love even more than communication? The absolute, deafening, anxiety-inducing void of complete silence. I think as a kid, I was brainwashed into thinking that friendships were permanent blood oaths. My classmates would be like, "Hey Gary, we are best friends forever, right?" And I am thinking, I am 8 years old. I do not even know if I am going to like the same flavor of juice box tomorrow. How am I supposed to commit to a lifelong emotional partnership with a kid who still eats paste? But as you grow up, you develop this bizarre social contract. You make friends. You hang out. You share secrets. You get so close that you are basically emotionally enmeshed. And then one day, the unthinkable happens. You wake up, you look at your phone, and you realize something horrifying. You do not want to talk to them. Not today. Not tomorrow. Maybe not ever again. Hey Gary, isn't ghosting your friends just a toxic manifestation of your own emotional immaturity? Shusha. Just sit down. Let me tell the story. It always starts with a simple text message. It is a Tuesday. You are sitting on your couch, staring at the ceiling, enjoying the sweet embrace of doing absolutely nothing. Your phone vibrates. It lights up the room. You glance over. It is a text from your friend Mark. "Hey man, it has been a minute. We need to catch up. Let's grab brunch this weekend." Instantly, my brain goes into DEFCON 1. A normal person reads that text and thinks, "Oh, how nice. Mark wants to see me. I enjoy Eggs Benedict." I will reply with a thumbs up emoji. But my brain treats that text message like a live hand grenade that Mark just tossed through my living room window. I do not see an invitation for brunch. I see a massive, looming debt of emotional labor. Let us break down the logistics of brunch. If I agree to brunch, I have to wake up early on a Saturday. I have to put on pants with a button. I have to commute. I have to sit in a loud, crowded restaurant. And worst of all, I have to summarize the last 3 months of my life into a digestible, entertaining narrative for Mark. I have to sit there and say, "Yeah man, work is crazy. Yeah man, still single. Yeah man, the weather has been weird lately." I do not have the RAM for this. My social battery is at 1%, and Mark is trying to plug in a microwave. So what do? Do I text him back and say, "Hey Mark, I am feeling a bit socially burnt out. Can we rain check?" No. That would require vulnerability. That would invite follow-up questions. Mark might say, "Oh no, what is wrong? Do you want to talk about it?" Man, screw you, Mark. I do not want to talk about it. I just want to sit in the dark and eat shredded cheese out of the bag. So, I do the only logical thing a highly evolved adult can do. I look at the text message. I whisper, "I will reply later." And then I put my phone face down on the table and go eat shredded cheese out of the bag. This is the gateway drug to ghosting. The "I will reply later" lie. In psychology, this is a classic manifestation of avoidance coping. Avoidance coping is a maladaptive behavioral mechanism where you actively steer clear of stressful situations rather than dealing with them. Your brain identifies the text message as a stressor. It triggers a mild fight or flight response. And since you cannot physically fight a text message, although I have considered throwing my phone into a river, your brain chooses flight. By ignoring the message, you get an immediate, intoxicating rush of relief. The threat is gone. You do not have to go to brunch. You are safe. But this relief is a trap, because the text message is still there. It is sitting in your inbox. It says delivered. And the longer it sits there, the heavier it gets. 1 hour goes by. It is fine. People are busy. 5 hours go by. Okay, he probably thinks I am at work. 24 hours go by. The text message has now mutated. It is no longer a friendly invitation. It is a glowing, radioactive monument to my failure as a friend. If I reply now, I have to invent an excuse for why it took me a full day to read a 12-word sentence. I can't say I was busy. No one is that busy. I have to say something like, "Oh my gosh, dude, I am so sorry. My phone fell into a dimensional rift, and I just had to fight a warlock to get it back." Anyway, brunch sounds great, but I don't do that, because now the shame is too high. This leads to the absolute most twisted, hilarious, and pathetic everyday events of being a ghoster. Because once you are actively ghosting someone, your entire daily routine becomes a high-stakes stealth mission. Let us talk about the Instagram story dilemma. I am 24 hours deep into ghosting Mark. I am scrolling on Instagram. I see a really funny meme about an anxious raccoon. I want to post it to my story. But wait, If I post to my story, Mark will see the green ring around my profile picture. He will click it. He will see that I posted a raccoon meme 3 minutes ago. And he will realize the horrific truth. I am not busy. I am not dead. I am just ignoring him. Suddenly, I am trapped. I cannot post on social media. I cannot like other people's photos. If our mutual friend posts a picture, I cannot comment on it because Mark might be lurking in the comment section. I have effectively put myself into a digital witness protection program. I am a fugitive on the run from my own friendships. I literally start strategizing my internet usage. I say to myself, okay, I can post the raccoon meme, but I have to go into my privacy settings and manually hide my story from Mark. Do you know how insane that is? I am navigating 3 submenus deep into the Instagram privacy matrix just so I can post a rodent, all to avoid telling a grown man I do not want to eat pancakes with him. Psychologists call this the spotlight effect on steroids. The spotlight effect is the cognitive bias where you overestimate how much other people are paying attention to you. My brain is convinced that Mark is sitting in a dark room, surrounded by monitors, tracking my digital footprint like a CIA operative. In reality, Mark is probably just playing Mario Kart and forgot he even texted me. But in my head, I am public enemy number 1. And then, the worst possible thing happens. The ultimate friendship ick. The double text. It is day 3 of the ghosting. My phone vibrates. Hey man, just following up. Let me know if you are free. My soul leaves my body. Why did you do it, Mark? Why did you double text? We had a silent, mutual understanding going. I ignored you, and you were supposed to take the hint and slowly fade into the background of my life. But no, you had to knock on the door again. This double text pushes me over the edge. Now, I am not just anxious. I am annoyed. I start rationalizing my annoyance. I start thinking, wow, Mark is so needy. He is so demanding of my time. Doesn't he know I have a life? Doesn't he know I have important things to do? I have 0 important things to do. I am currently watching a 3-hour YouTube video about the history of theme park animatronics. But this is how the brain protects the ego. This is a psychological defense mechanism called projection. Instead of admitting that I am being a terrible, avoidant friend, I project the negativity onto him. I convince myself that his perfectly polite follow-up text is actually an aggressive invasion of my boundaries. I tell myself, wow, Mark is really not respecting my space right now. I need to protect my peace. Protect my peace. That is the ultimate millennial and Gen Z excuse for being a massive flake. I am not ghosting him because I am a coward. I am ghosting him because I am prioritizing my mental health. I am basically a wellness guru. So, I leave the double text on read. Or worse, I leave it unread, but I accidentally open it for half a second and my heart stops because I think the read receipt might have triggered. At this point, the digital bridge is burned. There is no coming back from ignoring a double text. The friendship has officially entered the twilight zone. But the digital world is only half the battle. Because eventually, you have to leave your house. And that is when the real physical nightmare begins. You step out of your front door. The sun is shining. The birds are singing. But to you, this is enemy territory. You need groceries. You go to the local supermarket. This is where the physical ghosting mechanics take over. You are no longer just a bad friend. You are a highly trained, tactical espionage agent. An elite CIA stealth operative has absolutely nothing on a 20-something trying to avoid eye contact in the produce aisle. You pull your hoodie up. You put on your noise-canceling headphones. You are not playing music, obviously. You need to be able to hear the ambient sound of Mark's voice, just in case he is comparing the prices of avocados 3 aisles over. Your head is on a swivel. You are calculating sight lines. You are mapping out emergency exits. You are walking down aisle 6. The canned goods. Suddenly, you look toward the end of the aisle, and you see a guy in a maroon jacket. Mark owns a maroon jacket. Your heart stops. Your sympathetic nervous system floods your entire body with cortisol. The fight or flight response kicks in. But remember, we are ghosters. We only do flight. I literally abandon my shopping cart. I dive behind a massive cardboard display of discounted mayonnaise. I am crouching on the cold linoleum floor, clutching a jar of Hellmann's, breathing like I just ran a marathon. I am fully prepared to live inside this grocery store for the rest of the week, if it means avoiding a conversation about brunch. I take a deep breath. I peek around the corner of the mayonnaise display. The guy in the maroon jacket turns around. It is a 60-year-old man with a thick mustache holding a box of bran flakes. It is not Mark. I slowly stand up. I dust off my knees. People are staring at me. And I realize, in this exact moment, that my life has become a pathetic, paranoid thriller all because I refused to type a 10-word text message. Why does this happen? Why do we put ourselves through this agonizing physical and digital gymnastics routine? Why do we suffer so much just to avoid a minor social interaction? Enter the absolute heavyweight champion of psychological torment, cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is the mental discomfort you feel when your beliefs completely contradict your actions. It is the glitch in your brain's matrix. Let us break it down. Here is my core belief. I am a good person. I am a nice, loyal, caring friend. Here is my current action. I am actively ignoring a perfectly polite text message from a friend. I am hiding my Instagram stories from him like a cybercriminal, and I am currently taking cover behind condiments to avoid looking him in the eye. These two realities cannot exist in the same brain without causing a massive psychological short circuit. Your brain absolutely hates this discomfort. It hates feeling like the bad guy. So, it has to find a way to resolve the dissonance. Does your brain resolve it by texting Mark back and apologizing for being a flake? No, absolutely not. That would be too mature. That would require accountability. Instead, your brain resolves the dissonance by rewriting history. It goes into the archives and starts actively searching for reasons why ghosting Mark is actually the morally correct, heroic choice. You sit there and start thinking, you know what? Mark once borrowed a pen from me in 2018 and he never gave it back. Mark is a parasite. He is an energy vampire. He is demanding my emotional labor on a weekend. I am not being a bad friend. I am actually setting a healthy boundary. Yes, I am a pioneer of self-care. I am protecting my aura. Do you see how twisted that is? I have completely villainized a guy whose only crime was wanting to eat pancakes with me, just so I can sleep at night without feeling guilty. This is the dark magic of the human ego. We will literally contort reality into a pretzel before we admit that we are just being socially awkward cowards. So, you ride this wave of fake empowerment. You convince yourself you did the right thing. But then, the universe decides to humble you. 3 weeks have passed. The ghosting operation is complete. You have successfully faded out. You assume Mark has moved on, perhaps built a shrine to your memory, weeping softly every time he walks past a brunch restaurant. You are at a local coffee shop. You are feeling good. You are a free man. The ghosting anxiety has finally washed away. You grab your iced latte from the counter, you turn around, and boom. You bump directly into Mark. There is no mayonnaise display to hide behind. There is no Instagram privacy setting you can toggle. You are face to face in the physical realm. There is nowhere to run. Time slows down. The silence is deafening. My soul leaves my body for the second time this month. I brace for the impact. I wait for the confrontation. I wait for him to yell at me, to call me a terrible friend, to demand a formal, written explanation for the unread double text. I am ready to be destroyed. Mark looks at me. His eyes widen, and then he smiles.
Oh, hey Gary.
He says completely genuinely.
Man, how have you been?
My brain completely short-circuits. I stutter. I sound like a dial-up modem trying to connect to the internet. Good. I say. Good. Busy. So busy. You know how it is. The warlocks, the dimensional rifts, just so much going on. Mark just laughs.
Yeah, same here, man. Work has been absolutely crazy lately. Hey, I gotta run back to the office for a meeting, but it was really good seeing you. Let's catch up sometime.
And then he walks out the door. He walks away. Just like that. I stand there holding my iced latte, completely frozen. And suddenly, I feel an entirely new, awful emotion. I feel deeply, profoundly disappointed. I realize something completely devastating. Mark wasn't obsessing over my silence. Mark wasn't plotting my downfall. Mark didn't spend the last 3 weeks analyzing our friendship. Mark just sent a text, I didn't reply, and he went on living his perfectly normal, well-adjusted life. The spotlight effect crashes down around me. I was never in the spotlight. I was barely a background extra in Mark's movie. I spent 3 weeks acting like a fugitive, projecting my massive insecurities, battling cognitive dissonance, and analyzing grocery store sightlines, and Mark just thought, oh, I guess Gary is busy. It is the ultimate blow to the ego. You ghosted someone, you put them through the silent treatment, and they barely even noticed you were gone. And honestly, maybe that is the actual psychological lesson here. Friendships drift. People get busy. The older we get, the harder it is to maintain the exact same dynamic we had when we were teenagers. We are not sharing lockers anymore. We have jobs, we have stress, we have our own weird, messy lives to navigate. Sometimes, a missed text isn't a passive-aggressive declaration of war. It is just a missed text. We create these massive, terrifying narratives in our heads because we are terrified of confrontation, and we are terrified of being perceived as bad people. We overthink everything to the point of absolute paralysis. But the reality of human interaction is usually so incredibly boring and forgiving. Not every friendship is meant to be a permanent blood oath. Some friendships are just people you hang out with until the circumstances change. As I have said before, we would still be what you consider friends, but not like before. And that happens. We can't always find someone or something to blame for it. But next time, maybe just send the text. Just take the 5 seconds to type, "Hey man, I am super drained this weekend. Let us catch up another time." It takes zero effort. It keeps your conscience clean. And more importantly, it saves you from having to army crawl through a supermarket like a deranged raccoon just to avoid a guy in a maroon jacket. Politely decline the invitation and move on. And honestly, if you are struggling with the immense psychological burden of avoiding your friends, or if you find yourself constantly hiding behind grocery store displays, maybe it is time to talk to an actual professional instead of consulting your local condiments. Which brings me to today's sponsor. If you need to figure out why your social battery is constantly at 1% and why you use avoidance coping mechanisms to navigate your daily life, you should check out this therapist sponsor. They can match you with a licensed therapist who can actually help you unpack your cognitive dissonance, all from the comfort of your own home. Which is great, because it means you do not have to go outside and risk running into Mark. Or, if you just want to continue avoiding your adult responsibilities, ignoring your text messages, and projecting your deep-seated insecurities onto fictional characters, you can do what I do. Go to youtube.com/@thefeltminds and start watching a new anime. Because animated characters never text you asking for brunch. They just fight ghosts, which is significantly easier to deal with than ghosting your friends. If you click the link in the description, you can try it out for free for 30 days. Just kidding. But seriously, reply to your friends, folks. See ya.